Welcome back to Perl. It's getting a little nippy, so I hope you don't mind, but I'm wearing my flannel. Last time, we looked at interpolating an array as a string. What we did was we printed it out as part of a string literal, or included it in the quotes of a print statement. Now, that's fine and it works, but as we saw, it has its limitations. We couldn't edit the entry. We couldn't put commas or tab stops or carriage returns or anything into the array. It just spits it out to our screen or our output device. Today, in this episode, we're going to see how we can overcome some of those limitations by using the foreach control structure. So let's take a look at some code. And I've got this script all prepared for you. It is called foreach Mac. Let's take a look. To begin with, the purpose is to demonstrate the use of the foreach control structure to process an entire array one element at a time. So I'll go ahead and print out a title for our program, and then what we need to do is we need to build an array to work with. And I'm using that same code that I used last time. I'm creating an array called Mac, and I'm populating it with a half dozen things that I thought of that include the word Mac, like Old MacDonald's Farm and the Mackinac Bridge. So I've got my array. So now I'm going to come down and I am going to treat it as a scalar. But before I do that, I print out my favorite Macs one at a time. The next thing we'll look at is the foreach structure itself. This statement says for each scalar Mac, in other words, for each element. After that, I specify the array name within parentheses. So it's for each scalar from the list or the array, Mac, do this loop. Now the loop consists of these three statements. The first statement is simply going to put a tab stop, \t, into the beginning of the scalar. So when I print it out, I'll have a tab stop. The next line concatenates to the end of that string a carriage return or escape n. And then we print out the scalar, including the tab stop and the carriage return. Now, once I finish my loop, I will have printed out each and every single element in the array. I'll go ahead and pause. And here's my pause, where I'm just simply waiting for input from the keyboard. And once I get some input, then I'm going to go ahead and print out a title, My Favorite Macs, as a list, and then print out the entire array. Now, the reason that I'm doing that is I want to show you that we have actually changed the elements in the array. Here's my terminal window, and I'm going to type in Perl for each Mac. there's my first print where I'm printing out each of the elements one at a time. Notice that every single one begins with a tab stop and ends with a carriage return, which is why each one is on a separate line. Let's hit return to see what happens when we print the array all at one time. The same thing. So in order for that to occur, we have altered the elements in the array themselves. Go ahead and give this a try with your own list, and I'll see you real soon.